we'll come into child's pose and have a brick underneath your head. So if child's pose is not very comfortable for you, you can always have the hips lifted a little bit and maybe pop a pillow or a bolster underneath. And to start with, just have the knees wide, big toes together. And as you sit and root the hips back either to your heels or to the bolster or pillow, if you've got that underneath the hips, reach the fingertips forward. So you're coming high on the fingertips. The arms are straight. You can have your hands as wide as you like for shoulder comfort. And then get this sense of hugging the shoulder blades back towards the spine, even as you extend through the hands. And rest your head on a brick or a block. So it's not a completely passive pose here. We've got some muscular energy in the arms, lifting the armpits away from the floor. And there's a sense of rooting the hips back. So we're cultivating length in the back body here. So then perhaps we can take the breath and encourage the breath into the back of the body. So feel the back of the pelvis broaden as you inhale. And see if you can keep all of that space as you exhale. And then the back of the waistline around the kidneys broadens as you inhale. And then keeping that spaciousness as you exhale. Take the breath to the back of the rib cage, almost feeling as if you're inflating the back of the lungs. And keeping all of that space as you exhale. And even feeling the shoulder blades broaden apart as you inhale. And as you exhale, keep all of that space. And then let's come up, pushing down into the hands to come up, and just take the brick to the side for a moment and bring your knees underneath your hips. And again, just press back towards child. You can keep the hips lifted if your knees don't want to fully flex. And we start to move the spine. So with the breath coming up into cow pose, inhale. So the chest, the gaze lift, the sit bones lift. As you exhale, push into the hands, pull the belly back, coming into cat pose, and then stretching the hips back into child's pose. So inhale, coming up, extending the spine as you come into cow pose. Exhale, pulling the belly up, rounding the spine and sitting back into child's pose. So starting to get a bit of flow here. Inhale into cow pose, Vityalasana, looking up. Exhaling, pulling the belly back, rounding the spine and starting to sit the hips back towards the heels. Inhaling. So start to feel as if there's a wave of movement. Don't overthink the poses. There's more of a flow between these three really classic yoga poses. And especially if you're doing this early in the morning, we want to really be kind to the spine as it starts to ease into the day. So see if you can get this flow of movement, of energy with your breath and the movement. Going from inhaling into cow pose, looking forwards, exhaling, gaze back towards the thighs, and sitting back. Lovely. Do 2 more rounds of breath with that movement. With the eyes closed, so that all of the attention is on the spine. And finish in child's pose. And then you might want to separate the knees a tiny bit, but separate the feet as well. So this time we're also going to breathe with a flow of movement. So this time, as you inhale, the elbows bend and come to the floor. Your nose slides forwards, the elbows lift, and the belly comes to the floor into a baby cobra. There's your inhale, your exhale lifts the hips and sits back into child's. So you want to feel as if your hands are glued onto the mat. Inhaling, coming up into a baby cobra, the belly lifts as you start your exhale and sit back. So this can be quite strong on the arms, so go steady, inhaling, and then exhaling back into child. Nice. Inhale. Good. Exhale back into child's pose. Lovely. So really slide the nose, chin, chest along the floor, hugging the elbows close to the rib cage. So don't let the elbows flare too much out to the sides. You're drawing the shoulder blades into the back of the heart, even as you extend into cobra pose. Lovely. So do one more. And again, sit back into child's pose. So we're going to try that again. So as you inhale and come forwards, this time you're going to tuck the toes, start to come up into cobra, lift up into plank, and then take the sit bones back into downward facing dog. So then our movement becomes inhale forwards into up dog. So you can keep the toes tucked, come forwards, and then exhale into down dog. So we try to inhale into up dog. If this is too strong, the knees come down, you come back into cobra, and exhale into downward facing dog. Or you can go back to what we were just doing. Inhale, draw the shoulder blades back as the chest comes through. Hands, arms strong. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lovely. And try one more round. Exhaling back into downward facing dog. And then stay in down dog and walk through the feet. Warming up the body, warming up the spine. So feel if you can take the inner thighs back, the knees can stay bent, take the sit bones high, and then draw the lower ribs back as you tone the abdomen. Nice. And then look to the thumbs and step your feet forwards. Inhale as you lengthen into a half forward fold. And then exhale and fold. So your fingertips can be on the floor, your knees can be bent here. And see if you can feel that gravity is drawing the crown of your head towards the floor. Give the head a little bit of a shake. Can you feel a lengthening of the spine, maybe between the hips and the ribs? As you take a breath and as you exhale, feel heavy and long relax through the spine. Uttanasana. And then start to come up, but keep the knees really bent. Lift the chest, start to sweep the arms up and then root down into the feet and lift up into the fingertips. Exhaling, hands to the heart. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, fold. So if your back is stiff, your legs are stiff, you're going to bend. Otherwise, keep the legs straight as you fold into Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen. Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, fold again. Soften the knees. Start to lift the chest. Inhale, root into the feet. Extending Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's do one more like that. Inhale. Exhale, float down into Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root into the feet and come all the way up. Exhaling, hands to the heart. Let's flow through Surya Namaskar. Inhale. Exhale, a sun salutation with a little variation. Inhale, lengthen the chest forwards. This time, step your left foot back into a long lunge. So front foot and hands all in a line. Root your right hip back, lengthen the crown forwards, firm the back leg. Take another breath here. Lovely. And then stepping back into plank. Lower to the belly. Inhale into cobra. Squeeze the shoulder blades to the back of the heart as you lift the gaze. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, plank, downward facing dog. Nice. Looking to the thumbs, take your left foot forwards, low lunge. Nice, so hugging your left hip back, firming the back leg, extend the crown of the head forwards. Lovely. And then ground the hands, step back, plank. Lower to the belly. Inhale, cobra. Good. Lift the hips, plank. And downward facing dog. Then take a couple of breaths in down dog. Steadying the breath and taking the attention to the spine again. So as you breathe into the back of the pelvis, back of the waist, back of the rib cage, and even into the back of the shoulder blades. Feel a spaciousness as the hips lift towards the ceiling. Steady breath. Look to the thumbs. And when you're ready, step forwards. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Your hands can be to the shins. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, hug the legs towards each other as you reach up into Urdhva Hastasana, and exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, take the arms up. Take hold of your left wrist. As you root into your left foot, start to hinge to the right. So we come into this crescent shape. Yeah. And then can you feel as if you're extending the arms from the base of the shoulders? Nice. Inhale to the center. Take hold of your right wrist, root into the right foot this time and hinge to the left. Great. Feel as if the belly button's still facing forward, so there's no rotation here. Nice. Rooting into that right foot. Looking great. And then back to the center, separate the hands. Shoulders are drawing down. Feel that you're rooting the feet into the floor, toning the abdomen back as you inhale and look up. As you exhale, arms wide, swan dive down into Uttanasana. Legs straight if you can, but bent if that's more comfortable. Trust your body. Inhale, look forwards as you lengthen the spine. Exhale, take your right foot back, this time into your long lunge. Lovely. Firm the back leg and see if you can extend forwards. And then drop your right knee to the floor. Sweep the arms up, coming into a little crescent lunge here, and lengthen the tailbone. Good. Inhale, look up. As you exhale, twist belly button to the left and extend the arms out to the side in line with your mat. Take a breath here. See if you can stay nice and steady. Inhale, lengthen the arms as you come back to the center. Lovely. And then exhale, take the hands back, lift the back knee back into your low lunge. Great. Take the left foot to join the right plank. Inhale as you come onto the tiptoes and exhale with control, lower to your belly. And inhale, cobra. Good. Tuck the toes, plank, downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale, the right leg lifts as you look to your thumbs, and exhale, step that right foot forwards, find your low lunge. And as you hug your right hip back, extend from the back heel into the crown of the head. Take another inhale here, and as you exhale, drop your left knee down and sweep the arms up. Good. Lengthen from the back of the rib cage down the flesh of the buttocks. So you draw the abdomen in. Inhale, look up. And as you exhale with control, start to twist to the right. So the belly button, the left ribs come round. And you extend as if you're reaching out from the center of the heart into your fingertips. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Take the tips of the ears back, the throat back. And then inhale, take the arms up. And exhale, hands to the floor, lift the back knee back into your lunge. And then step the right foot next to the left for plank. With control, inhaling to come onto the tiptoes, lower to the belly. And inhale, cobra. Tucking the toes, plank. And then take it back into downward facing dog. Lovely. And stay here for a couple of breaths. Rooting into the hands, all four corners of the palm, the thumb joint, the index finger joint, feeling strong through the hands. And you can relax the heels back if that feels good. Another steady breath. Looking to the thumbs, you can always jump if you want to, or step to the hands. Lengthen the crown of the head forward as you inhale, exhale, and bow. Soften the knees if you wish, sweep the arms wide, and inhale, rooting into the feet, lifting through the fingertips, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, sweeping the hands up. Exhale, swan dive forwards into your forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, look forwards. Exhale, step the left foot back, long lunge, hands in line with the front foot. Good. So on the ball of the back foot, feel as if you're peeling the inner left thigh towards the ceiling. So you're firming that back leg, hugging into the midline. So that as we start to lift the hands forwards, toning the belly back from the front thigh, you feel steady in the lower body. Good. Can you feel dynamically that you're reaching from the back heel to the fingertips? And then toning the belly without straightening your front knee, come up into Anjali Asana. Good. And then can you draw the shoulder blades down into the back of the heart, reaching up from the base of the shoulder blades to the very tips of the fingers. And then maybe taking the ears back, the throat back, lift the gaze. Well done. Steady and strong. Start to turn and twist to the right, opening up the shoulders, reaching the arms in line with your mat. Yes, take it a deeper lunge through the front knee. Power in the back leg. Let's take one more breath here. And then sweep the arms up. Great. Take the hands to the hips and step the back foot in about a foot so that you can ground the back foot. So your left toes are pointing 45 degrees. But the pelvis is facing forwards. So if that means you need to lift the heel a little bit, then go ahead if you're quite tight in your calves or ankles. Lovely. And then take the hands to the back of the sacrum, fingertips pointing down, thumbs away from each other. And feel as if you're lengthening the tailbone and lifting up the heart. Nice. And then take the left hand down to the back of the left thigh and reach the right arm. Fingertips to the ceiling. Stay low in your lunge. Nice. And then bring your right hand down. If you can, you take your right hand to the left thigh, or it might be to the left hip. And take your left arm up. That's it. So that brings your left arm, your left hip forwards a little bit. So taking the right hip back, the left hip forwards. Reach up into the left fingertips. Well done. And then start to reach the left hand forward. Keep your right hand where it is. And then take your left hand to the floor. Bring your right hand to the floor and start to walk the hands towards the top left corner of your mat. You can lunge a little deeper through your front knee. Well done. Great. Take another breath. And then bring your hands either side of the left foot. Step the the right foot, sorry, to step the left foot back a little bit, back into your low lunge, and then step back into plank, lower to the floor. Inhale into cobra, tuck the toes, plank, take it back into downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha, Mukha Svanasana. Well done. Inhaling, let's lift the right leg high. Is that right? No. The left leg high. And then step the left foot forwards. Great. Hugging the left hip back. Stay on the ball of the right foot, so feel strong through the lower body. And start to tone the belly away from the thigh as you take the arms forward. So you're reaching from the back heel into the fingertips. Finding a steadiness in the lower body as you start to inhale, lift the chest into Anjali Asana. And feel as if you're drawing the pubic bone to the navel as you lengthen the back of the body. Power in this back leg. Well done. And then staying steady. If you can, you're hugging everything into the midline. Start to turn and twist to the left. And see if you can bring the right ribs round as you extend through the fingertips in line with your mat. Take another breath, squeezing the feet towards each other for some stability. On your next inhale, take the arms up. Great. From the tips of the shoulder blades as they draw down, reach into the fingertips and step your right foot forwards. Get that one out of the way. Good. So into warrior one. You're grounding your back foot. Your toes are pointing 45 degrees. So the left hip can draw back and the front hip, the right hip draws forwards. So squaring the pelvis. Nice. Taking the right hand down to the back of the right thigh. Start to extend through the fingertips as you look up. We're still trying to take the right hip forwards, reaching up. Sweeping the right arm to join the left. Take the left hand down, and maybe the left hand's on the back of your thigh, or maybe it's the back of your right hip. And start to reach up again, lunging through the left knee. Again, stay steady. Start to reach forwards with your right hand, and then start to reach down to the top right hand corner of your mat and bring the left hand to join the right. Nice. Walking the hands forwards, but keep hugging your left hip back and bow. Well done. Take a steady breath here. And then walk the hands either side of your front foot. Step back with your right and then take it into plank. Lower to the belly. Last time. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhaling to plank and pressing back, downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths in down dog, rooting into the hands from the base of the shoulders. Even as the tips of the shoulder blades draw in towards your spine, making lots of space for the neck and the head. And then draw the belly in, the lower ribs in, and see if you can lift the hips higher. And then we'll begin to walk the hands back to the feet. So we come back to the back of the mat into Uttanasana. And you fold the belly along the thighs. Let the head release. Soften the knees a tiny bit. Take the hands to the backs of the shins or the ankles. And as you bend your elbows on an exhale, feel as if the crown lengthens towards the floor a little bit as the belly hugs to the thighs. If that's too much on your hamstrings, you're going to bend the knees. Yeah. Have another breath here. And then release the hands, sweep the arms alongside your ears and start to sit the hips back. Belly stays close to the thighs. Feet hip width apart, reaching dynamically with your fingertips as the shoulder blades draw away from the ears. And then start to lift the sternum, stay low in the hips. Utkatasana, chair pose. Good, take another breath. Take the ears back, the throat back, and feel as if you're pressing the thumbs back. Nice. And then root into the feet, look up to the fingertips, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, hands to the heart. Take your weight into your left foot and hug the right knee in. Great, and just find your balance here. So feel a firming of the muscles around your left hip. And from the core of your pelvis, push into your left foot. And then you can slide your hand, if this is a useful way of getting into tree pose, slide the hand down to the ankle so that you can place the foot above the knee on the inner thigh. And then we want to start pushing the standing leg into the foot. Then push the foot into the standing leg. So we've got a real dynamic squeeze into the center, rooting from the pelvis into the standing foot, and then see if you can extend up through the arms. Again, the shoulders draw down as the fingertips reach for the ceiling. And take the throat back and the ears back. And you might even lift the gaze. If you fall out of it, like I did, just come back in, take your time. Well done. Have one more breath. And then unplug the foot. Bring the arms down. If you need to just reset, then go ahead. And lift the right knee in line with the hip. So we need a little bit of tone through the belly. Shoulder blades draw down. Take the arms out to the sides and start to turn towards the knee. Left hand to outside of right knee. Bringing the left ribs round into your twist. Reaching through the right fingertips behind you. Well done. And take 2 more steady breaths. And then back to the center. Release Tadasana. Well done. So starting to load the weight into your right foot, lift your left knee. And you can hug it in and start to feel a steadiness. So we want to feel the standing leg, the muscles around the buttock, the hip starting to firm to give you some steadiness. And then you can slide the hand to the ankle, start to place your foot to the inner thigh. And then your standing thigh is going to push into the foot. I've got slidey leggings on today. And then the foot pushes into the thigh. So you really keep the thigh into the foot into the thigh. Keep squeezing into the center. Rooting from the pelvis into your foot. Start to lift into your tree pose, Vrikshasana. And steady the breath. Taking the ears back. Lifting the gaze to the horizon. And maybe the gaze lifts towards the sky. And steady the breath. Pushing thigh to foot, foot to thigh, toning the belly and rooting into your foot. Lovely. Take 1 more breath. Unplugging the foot. Bringing the knee in line with the hip again, starting to twist. Taking the opposite hand to the outside of the knee. And just like we did in our lunges earlier, start to turn the belly and then the ribs and then the shoulders. Bringing the right ribs through into your twist and then find your breath. Crown of the head, tips of the ears lengthening to the ceiling, and keep grounding from the pelvis into your standing foot. And take 2 more breaths. Good. With control, if you can, come back to the center and then release Tadasana. Well done. And then start to come down to your sit bones onto the mat. And you can grab a strap if you've got one handy, but you don't need one. I'll show you without. So just take a moment to draw the flesh of the buttocks out to the side a little bit to give you a broadening in the sit bones and more of a connection between the sit bones and the ground. And then walk the feet in towards your sit bones, but keep the body upright. So taking hold of the back of the thighs, you almost want to feel as if you're just leaning the upper back against a wall. And you might tip back a little bit here as we lift the feet off the floor, but keep hugging the hands into the backs of the thighs. So we keep the chest lifted. Can you draw the shoulder blades into the back of the heart? Good. And then lift the shins parallel to the floor. Great. And then walk the hands onto the lower legs. So you're hugging the arms into the legs into the arms, pulling the belly back. So we keep the chest lifted. Good. Toning the toes back. You might be able to straighten the legs, but you can keep hold of them. Pressing the hands into the legs into the hands. Now, if you're stronger than me, you'll be able to release the hands away from the legs, but you can keep them here. Boat pose, Navasana. Let's have another breath. Good. Come back into this half pose where you've got the knees bent. And if you have got a strap, then you can lasso, you can bring your legs down for a second, lasso your feet. So we come back here. So the shoulders are still drawing back. You've got enough tension in your strap that you feel that you can push your feet into the strap. Keep the chest lifted so we're not leaning the shoulders back towards the floor. And then see if you can straighten the legs. And as you bend the elbows out to the side, toning the belly, maybe you can lift the legs towards the chest. Keep lifting. Good. Well done. Take another breath. Lifting the heart towards the feet towards the crown of the head. And then release. Well done. And place the strap to the side. Great. And then come onto your back. Feet firmly planted on the floor. So the feet might move towards your sit bones a little bit so that you feel that you can really ground the feet. So there's this sensation as your arms just come to the sides, palms down. As you push your feet into the floor, feel that that's going to just lift your hips straight up. If your feet are too far away, you might feel that the backs of your legs, your hamstrings are having to take some of that strain. If your feet are a bit closer to your sit bones, then we can really feel that power coming from the glutes, the buttock muscles. Roll the shoulder blades under so your collarbones are open. The palms down. Start to press the arms down into the floor as you draw your sit bones together without squeezing the buttocks too much. Begin to lift the pelvis. So grounding into the feet. Feel as if all of your body weight is coming into the feet. Pouring into your feet as you lift the hips even higher. And maybe the sternum comes towards the chin. If it feels good, you can roll your upper arms down even more or under even more and lift higher. Great. Keep grounding into the feet. So the big toe joint, the little toe joint, the inner heel, the outer heel. Good. And feel as if the weight is pouring from the center of your pelvis down into your feet as you lift. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Lovely. Bridge pose. And then maybe root the palate back towards the floor. Have 2 more breaths. And then begin to release. The upper arms, if they're folded under, can just unravel and then start to melt the upper back, the upper ribs, the middle back, the rib cage, and then the lower back. Roll to the floor until the pelvis is heavy and broad, resting into the floor. Walk your feet towards each other. Bring the soles of the feet together as the hips, the knees fall away. Into Supta Baddha Konasana, and then roll onto the backs of the arms, so the palms are facing the ceiling. Keeping the breath full, Ujjayi breath, if that's familiar to you. Take another 3 breaths here. And then start to soften the breath. Just allowing the breath to be its natural rhythm without effort. And you can stay with your legs here or come into full Shavasana, straightening the legs, feet stay separate, falling away from each other. And let the body just be held in gravity, relaxing onto the mat. Start to deepen the breath without changing anything in your body. And feel as if you're drawing the breath in from the soles of your feet, like a plant drawing energy up from the earth, through the legs, the limbs, to the pelvis, from the pelvis, through the spine, all the way to the skull, to the crown of the head. And with each breath, drawing energy from the soles of the feet to the crown of the head, that sense of drawing energy and life into the body reaches the fingertips, the earlobes, the eyelashes, the eyebrow center, and shines out of the crown of your head. So deep breath. And with your next inhale, take the arms overhead. Have a full body stretch as you bring the feet towards each other, hugging the legs towards each other. And then hug the knees in. And when you're ready, roll to the side. come up to seated. Bringing the hands together and bow the head. And with great love and gratitude, namaste.